In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut, and not just how to cut, also how to sew this beautiful long peplum halter neck blouse that Priscilla Ojo is wearing on the left side of my screen. I made the one on the right side of the screen. A client requested, ordered for it, and then I sourced for the fabric and I recreated the style for her. We did our measurements through virtual measurement, which was a video call, and I sent it down to her, and the outfit fits perfectly like a glove. So firstly, I'll say that if you're interested in me making something like this for you, you want me to recreate something like this for you, please send me a DM, or you send a WhatsApp message to the phone number on your screen. You can also drop it in the comment section, or you send me a DM on my other social media platforms. My name is Atoke Coutures on TikTok. My name is Atoke Coutures on Facebook. My name is Atoke Coutures Fashion Academy on Instagram. All of that being said, these are the basic measurements you need to be able to cut and sew this blouse for any adult, as long as the person is an adult and not a child. These are the basic measurements that you will need to measure on the person. And in case this is the first time you are seeing my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when I upload a sewing tutorial on this channel, because on this channel I upload sewing tutorials on daily basis. If not long form video like this one you are watching, I upload short form sewing tutorials on daily basis. All of this being said, let us dive right into the tutorial. So firstly, we are going to be drafting the upper part of this blouse, which is the half length, on our pattern paper. This is my basic bodice for like half length, and the next I did was to divide our nipple to nipple by 2. I marked out the dart line, and you remember that is an halter neck, so I'm going to be deriving the halter neck from this basic bodice, from this basic half length. So the next I did was to figure out the neck depth. For the neck depth, I used 9, and from the armhole I just connected it to the 9, just the way I'm doing. And you remember that it's a sweetheart neckline, so altogether I used 9 for the neck depth. I first marked out the line like this. After marking it out like this, I proceeded to marking out the sweetheart neckline, and then I cut it out. So this is it for the front. I'll be using this to cut the front, and because I don't want the armhole too deep, I had to like add to the armhole side. I want the armhole to be like off shoulder kind of armhole, not a proper shoulder armhole. So after cutting this out, I transferred it to my aquatic fabric. Don't forget, the fabric has to be on a fold of 2 while you do this, because this is the front where there is no opening at the middle. So I traced it out, and I've added my sewing allowance, all my sewing allowance, the length, the side. I've added it to my pattern before transferring to my fabric. So when I was done cutting for the front, I had to retrim it. Like, I brought it lower a bit. If you check, the back of the blouse is lower than the front. Definitely halter neck has to be like that, so I had to cut it down a bit, and then I transferred that to my fabric, and I added 1.5 inch as the zip allowance, because I didn't add zip allowance to my pattern. The pattern was for the front panel. So after cutting this out, majorly the next thing I did was to start sewing. I had to join this upper part before cutting out the strap I used for the halter neck and the peplum. So I weaved the edge. Please, if you are using this aquatic fabric, it's important you try as much as possible to weave, because it's really pulling, it's fraying. So I weaved the edge, and then I folded it once. That's it for the neckline. This is the front panel now. If you check, there is a little bit of gather on the cleavage side, so that side you're going to be using this elastic to achieve that effect. So I marked the length on the fabric, and then that length divided by 2 and deduct 1/2 inch. That's what you'll be cutting out on the elastic. So I had to skip like 1/2 inch that I'll be using to fold the neckline, and from that 1/2 inch I measured 4 inches downward. That's where I want the elastic to stop, and that 4 inches I divided it by 2, which gives me 2. I deducted 1/2 inch, so the length of the elastic is 1.5. I hope my explanation is clear. So I pulled it on top of that 4 inches and stitched it at the middle, and when I was done, this is what it's looking like. You can see that squeezed and stretchy effect on that side. That is what it will look like if you have done it correctly. So after this, I proceeded to cutting the peplum. The peplum, I used the whole length of the akwete. You can make that peplum as long and as short as you want, but I feel that the longer the finer. So I used the whole length of the akwete and the length of the, I mean in length, like in wideness. But in breadth, I used the whole blouse length minus the half length. I hope my explanation is clear. So you can see that is the person's waistline. So every other thing that is remaining is the extension that is going to drop by the side. Now when I was done cutting the front, I used it to cut the back. I made it the same length, and for this blouse, this tassel will only be at the front, is not at the back. That is how it is in the style. So I added 1.5 inch zip allowance. While my fabric is on fold, you can see that my fabric is on fold. I put 1.5 inch at the back for zip allowance, and that zip allowance, when you are fixing it, you will not be fixing it straight too, so that it's not kind of puffing at the back. You're just going to slant your hand outward. You see the way I just demonstrated? That's how you fix it. When you want to fix you're going to cut it straight like this, but when you want to fix your zip, please, from the waistline into the long peplum, you are going to slant your hand. Don't fix it straight like that. If not, the zip will like curve at that region. I hope my explanation is clear. So you just slant your hand. See the way I slanted my hand? You slant your hand like that when you are fixing your zip. So now I've proceeded to shaping my half length, the upper part. I've shaped it on both sides. I've held my darts. I put darts for at the front and at the back. So I've held my dart, and then I've shaped the bust divided by 4 initially, and then I flipped it to the right side and I started dividing by 2. I flipped it to the other side when I was done shaping one side, and I started dividing my measurement by 2, the bust and the waist. So what is next is now to fix this peplum, this long peplum, into the waistline. Then after fixing the long peplum, the next I did was to cut that strap on the neckline for the halter neck. So this strap, you can make it as long as you want. I just used the length of the fabric I could achieve, and I made the width. I want it to be 1.5 inch wide. So what I did was to cut 4 inches, so that after turning I'll have 1.5 inches left, and then I cut 2 for both sides. I fixed it on the neckline, and that is it. So when I was done doing this, I proceeded to fixing my zip, and this is the outcome. For this tassel, you are going to comb it out. Please comb it out very well. If you are interested in watching the sewing tutorial of the trouser, please click on the box on the right side of your screen. So you have to comb the tassel out very well so that it can be full, because it doesn't come like it's like tangled together. It comes like that, but if you want it to be full, you have to comb it out just as I did. And then I packed my client's order and I sent it to my client, and I got a beautiful review that it fits perfectly, even though we did a virtual measurement. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If at this point you are still here and you've not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you next time I do any tutorial on this channel. As much as possible, help me share my tutorial. I'll see you in my next one.